Hello to everyone in TV land. This is Focus on Liberia online television, and you're listening to the Focus on Liberia Daily News with Gwendolyn Dorado. I bring you the headlines. FIA staff demand suspension of Director General amid corruption allegation. 3.5 million Liberians live in poverty, World Bank's latest report unveils. Senator McGill questions attempt by executive to expand US 90 million outside of budget approval. Grassroots movement stand launch to end impunity in Liberia. And former Liberian rebel leader calls for removal of Human Rights Commission chairman amid accusation of defamation. Those were the headlines, and now bring you the news in details. The concerned staff of the Financial Intelligence Agency has issued a formal demand to the Inter-Ministerial Committee calling for the immediate suspension of Mr. Stanley Ford, the current Director General of the FIA. The call to action stems from ongoing investigations into alleged internal corruption amounting to a staggering US 6.2 million. The allegations centered around financial misconduct have prompted the staff to insist on Mr. Ford's suspension to ensure a fair and unbiased investigation. The staff members, led by Yematali, underscored the necessity of Mr. Ford's removal to prevent a potential interference of manipulation of the investigation process. Yematali said, at this critical juncture, it is imperative for the integrity of the FIA to be upheld, reflecting the sentiments of the concerned staff, allowing Mr. Ford to continue in his role while under investigation cast doubt on the credibility of the entire process, he continued. The investigation, spearheaded by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, focuses on a sum of US 6.2 million allegedly deposited in the FIA's account without proper authorization in the National Budget Fiscal 2022-2023. Nearly 1 million Liberians live in extreme poverty and 2.5 million live in absolute poverty, says the World Bank in its latest poverty assessment report on Liberia. Speaking at the launch of the Liberia Poverty Assessment 2023 on Monday, Ms. Georgia Wallen, World Bank country manager, said, while the findings of the poverty assessment are stark and sobering, it is the bank's hope they will be useful for driving intensified action to address the worsening situation of poverty facing millions of Liberians, particularly the most vulnerable. She said the World Bank and the government of Liberia share a common ambition rooted in the bank's mission to end extreme poverty and promote shared prosperity on a livable planet. The launch of the report came as Liberia transitions from one administration to another and also from one development agenda, the Pro-Poor Agenda for Prosperity and Development, to the ARREST Agenda, an acronym representing agriculture, roads, rule of law, education, and tourism, which was held at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congo Town. Ms. Wallen said that Liberians should take courage in strength, people, and translating knowledge into action. My County Senator Nathaniel Mel has raised an alarm over the attempt by the executive branch to expand the amount of US $21 million without any authorization from the national legislature. Senator Mel recalled that in February this year, the national legislature approved the amount of US $2 million to support President Joseph Boakai's agenda to improve road condition across the country. He noted the executive, through the Ministry of Public Works, has already awarded contracts worth US $21 million to various companies for the rehabilitation of roads across the country. He made the claims when he spoke to legislative reporters at his Capitol building office in Monrovia on Monday, March 18, pointing out that the move is in total violation of the Liberian Constitution and Concession Commission Act, and made specific reference to Article 34D of the 1986 Liberian Constitution, which, among other things, states no loan shall be raised or guaranteed without the authority of legislative enactment. Therefore, the executive must disclose to the public the source of funding for the US $21 million. Meanwhile, the senator has vowed to forward the matters to the plenary of the Liberian Senate upon their return from break. On Sunday, thousands of Liberians gathered at the Unification Park to witness the launch of the movement Solidarity and Trust for a New Day, commonly known as STAND. The movement aims to tackle impunity in Liberia, addressing the lingering scars of the nation's tragic civil conflicts. Chairman Mulbake Molu, the driving force behind STAND, emphasized the profound significance of the occasion, linking it to the painful history of Liberia's Sunday shows. He stated that the launch of STAND signifies the beginning of a profound era dedicated to justice, truth, and pursuit of closure for the atrocities inflicted upon the Liberian people. Molu invoked the memory of the country's dark past, including the brutal execution of senior officials under the Samuel Kedo's regime and subsequent violence that engulfed Liberia, particularly through the establishment of a war crimes court to prosecute senior perpetrators. He expressed gratitude to the international community, particularly the United States government, for their support in the pursuit of justice, and added that STAND pledged to address issues of governance and corruption. Molu said, as grassroots movement, STAND vowed to champion the rights of all Liberians, regardless of political affiliation or ethnicity. He called on fellow citizens to join the movement in challenging the status quo and building a brighter future for Liberia. Former Grand Jide County Representative George Iboli has strongly described Councillor Dempster Brown, chairman of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, as gross incompetent, lacking integrity, and failing to execute the mandate of his commission. It can be recalled that during a recent press conference to express his commission's support for the War and Economic Crimes Court, Councillor Brown attacked Dr. Boley by accusation of killing his mother during the deadly civil war. Responding to Councillor Brown during a press conference on Monday, March 18, Dr. Boley claimed that Brown is a pathological liar. He said the allegation against him, which some members of the press circulated without verification, was intended to defame him, but called on Councillor Brown to provide evidence rather than flirting and grandstand with the media and bringing into disrepute the integrity and credibility of the commission in Liberia, which he leads. That does it for the Focus on Liberia Daily News. I bring you a recap of the headlines. FIA staff demand suspension of Director General amid corruption allegation. 3.5 million Liberians live in poverty, World Bank's latest report unveils. Senator McGill questions attempt by executive to expand US $90 million outside of budget approval. Grassroots movement stand launched to end impunity in Liberia. And former Liberian rebel leader calls for removal of Human Rights Commission chairman amid accusation of defamation. On behalf of the management and staff of Focus on Liberia, many thanks to our listeners and viewers. We urge that you keep following us and share our videos. My name is Gwendolyn Dorado. I present it.